I saw those graves, but I saw a demarcation in the middle of the graves. There was a walk path, and that path, by the look of things, this is rainy season, right? That path has been well trodden, because even in rainy season there's no grass. It's so brown. And I saw children walking through the midst of a cemetery, not afraid. And I asked the Lord, what do you want me to know? And he said to me, tell them that they can walk through death and have no fear. What is ravaging the north is an immoral spirit, and it will waste many mighty men. We want to cry out for the soul of the Northern Church, that God will preserve it.
Hello guys, welcome to EFZ Media and TV, where we provide you with highly inspiring and motivational gospel content. We aim to ignite transformation through the delivery of Christian teachings based on truth and wisdom. Like, comment, and share. God bless you.
When we drove out of my lodging this morning, I just wanted to listen to a song. My protocol is, once I'm out of the gate, I call my wife to say I'm on my way to the meeting. Once I'm out, she's the first person I call. So it's just me. It's just me. I'm not like my brother. You see, it depends on what works for you. It's that accountability for me that helps me journey. If I'm going there, and I told my wife I'm going there, if door will become window for me, and I need to see somebody at the window, she must know that I'm moving from the door to the window. That's just how I'm wired. That's what works for me. So my wife is here, my wife is here, my wife is on my leg too, my wife is in my hand. You know, it's that kind of thing. So I spoke to her, and then suddenly the Lord began to put a burden in my heart. I hope that's not all that I'm going to do. It's around fleshly lusts. But the Lord began to say to me, and if you understand my wiring, as much as I believe that God has sent me to individuals, I believe that a large part of my commissioning is to territories. So every time I move around, I trust him for a communication, many times unsolicited, as to what his emphasis is for the territory. And I found out that sometimes he does not speak to me as regards his emphasis. He just advertises what the enemy is doing, or the shape of his church in the territory. So the Lord began this way. He said to me, he said, the church in northern Nigeria has been largely known as a pilgrim church, a stranger church. And that's why some of us who come up north and then we go to the south, we advertise a slightly different genre of the church by the name the Northern Church. And a lot of people in Southwest fight us because they think that we say that to try and segment the reality of the church. There are two churches in Nigeria, and I say that unapologetically. There is a Northern Church and there is a Southern Church. I believe that one of the reasons why God brings some of us this way is so that we can be in the South but still be the Northern Church. In many years ago, the churches were demarcated along the lines of territory. Now it is essence. I want you to follow my journey. It's a prophetic one. So in the south, you now have northern churches in the south of Nigeria. And I want to say to you that the north has also been infiltrated by southern churches. And the essence of those churches is fast spreading. The Lord told me to announce to you as the northern church that your greatest enemy is not the persecution from the sons of the bondwoman. The northern church is designed to weaken internally, and the waster has arrived. You gave voice to it when we were speaking yesterday, and I would make it loud. So I continued my journey, and you know, my sister, she's a very good driver. As she was bringing me, I had to mark the landmarks. I looked on my right, and I saw a cemetery not too far from the road. The building after the cemetery is the card police staff quarters. I saw those graves, but I saw a demarcation in the middle of the graves. There was a walk path, and that path, by the look of things, this is rainy season, right? That path has been well trodden, because even in rainy season there's no grass. It's so brown. And I saw children walking walked through the midst of a cemetery, not afraid. And I asked the Lord, what do you want me to know? And he said to me, tell them that they can walk through death and have no fear. But you know the secret? The secret. The confidence those children have is that there is a path. And that path suggests to them that people have walked through here and they survived walking in the midst of the dead. We also can walk. So there is a call for the emergence of trailblazers, men who will walk through the death that has invaded the north. I'll tell you what it is, so that those who will come after us can also walk with boldness, that there may be death everywhere, but there is life at the end. Help me, Jesus. That's why I didn't join the singing. I had to sit because I was peeping into scriptures. Lord, how do we see these men raised? Their sign is what Peter spoke about in 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 11. They are men who have learned to abstain from fleshly lusts. What is ravaging the north is an immoral spirit, and it will waste many mighty men. They will preach, so the northern church will not cease to be revelatory. Even your sounds in the north will be wasted by this waster that has come. Those that hear them will tend towards immorality, because that's what the sound will release. To the younger ones, be careful what you hear, and then how you hear. You know, I was sharing something with you, that there was a sound that was engaging, a northern sound. And this sound became so strong. I listened to it in the morning, in the afternoon, in my traveling. And after about 2 weeks, I found out that there was a strangeness that crept into my soul. My eyes started straying towards only very small girls. I had to call my brother, the Reverend Austin in Lagos, to say, that's how we relate. You must have a company that you return to. In that company, you are not an apostle. You are my brother. To say, see what I am going through. And once it happens like that across media platforms, WhatsApp, prayers begin to run until you come back to confess that now I am free. So people began to pray. And I didn't even know how to tell my wife. Because if the attraction is for older ladies, that's natural. What am I interacting with? It's, what do you call that thing? Pedophilia. What is this thing? And so as the prayers went on, I went before the Lord. And sometimes the Lord does not give power to solve the problem. What he brings is insight. And the insight was, that minister you are listening to, those worship songs is what is routing that energy. The songs were seemingly made in heaven, but they were sprinkled with fleshly lust. So the Lord said to me, stop listening to him. Check. So I stopped. And in 2 weeks, the thing died. And I felt, maybe it's not God that spoke to me. Let me go back, because these songs, you know, I was very plain with you. If you know the songs of this person I'm talking about, they are great songs. Bible-based, intimacy, advertising. So I was driving to Ilorin. And most times I go on those journeys alone. It's not too long a journey. The reason why I drive alone is that I want to engage God in the car. And I don't want anybody saying, sir, it's a good opportunity to ride with you. And then you'll be asking me questions. I don't want that kind of thing. So I was driving. And so, selected one of those songs. I played again. As I drove into Ilorin, my eye went back immediately. And then craving started to creep up my heart. And then I found out, this is an ex. I love the brother because he's a brother. If it was a secular musician that was doing that, then I would have known that it was sent by the enemy. But you see, the core of that minister, I speak by revelation from God, and I speak by experience, that his sounds are toxic in the body. Very revelatory man of God. Strong sounds. But he stands representing the enemy because of unconquered flesh. And I found out this morning as I was coming that the Lord said to me that it's the advertisement of a waster, but many more will come, because what has not been conquered will be broadcast from pulpits, and many will battle weaknesses. It's a greater evil. I said to us the first day that I came that according to Peter, their persecutors in the natural were not stronger a force against their pilgrimage. It was unconquered flesh that was their greatest enemy. Dearly beloved, I beseech you, as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lust, which war against the soul. If your core is weak, in no distant time you will fall. You will fall. You know, we're sharing yesterday. You travel out a lot. Apostle Eva, you know that with all respect to beautiful ladies in Nigeria, the beautiful ones are not in Nigeria. Oh no, can you confess? We have scattered beautiful people here. Eastern, Southern Africa has very beautiful people. I know you want God to send you, but that natural pilgrimage might be the end of your spiritual one. I found out that, you see, many of us are stronger when we travel. You know the reason why? The people at home are used to it. When you enter some of those nations, you are like a god. They've heard so much about you. Just merely seeing you will almost make them, I mean, you don't need too much energy to slay people. Just merely see it, they are gone. It's a waste time. Sometimes I wish it takes people out of the pulpit and then the body is saved. Then we can labor around that isolated man. The problem is that it spares the stage, but it sustains the corruption. We want to cry out for the soul of the Northern Church, that God will preserve it. Let me show you a few verses of scripture, because I asked the Lord, how do we solve the problem? So he took me to Joshua chapter 5. I'll read first 9 verses, then we go to pray. I don't know if I'll do any other thing. What I prepared for this morning was to labor around the spirit of truth. I wanted to show us 9 expressions of the Holy Ghost that furnish the journey of the pilgrim. But there's trouble. There's trouble. There's trouble.